Picture this. You just spent 12 hours on a plane, your legs hurt, your eyes are tired, you cannot wait to hug your family or sleep in your own bed. You land in San Francisco ready to go home. You have your H1B visa in your hand. You have your approval papers. Everything looks fine. You smile at the immigration officer, but instead of waving you through, he takes your passport. He walks away. 20 minutes later, you are sitting in a small room in the back, and someone is telling you your visa might be cancelled. Just like that, your whole life in America could end before you even leave the airport. This is not a made up story. This is happening right now to tech workers from India. If you have an H1B visa or if you are thinking about getting one, you need to hear this before you buy your next plane ticket. There are things nobody is talking about, things that could catch you by surprise and ruin everything you have worked for. Silicon Valley is not what it used to be. The big tech companies that used to welcome thousands of H1B workers every single year are changing their ways. They are cutting jobs, they are closing whole departments. Some are even moving their work to other countries outside the United States. When that happens, the people who work at the airport start asking tougher questions. They do not just look at your visa and stamp it anymore. Now they want to know if your job is still there. They want proof that you are really going back to work. And if something does not look right, they can put you on the next plane home, even if your visa stamp is brand new and shiny. This is not gossip. This is not someone trying to scare you for no reason. This is the real rule. And the sad part is, most people do not find out about it until it is too late. They think that because they have a valid visa, they are safe. But here is the truth that many people do not understand. A visa is only permission to travel to the United States. It is not a promise that you will be allowed to walk in. The real decision happens when you reach the port of entry. Right now, the officers are being extra careful with people who have H1B visas. And if you are coming from India, they are watching even closer. So, why is all of this happening now? Let me explain it to you in a simple way. Over the past year, we have seen huge layoffs in the tech world. Google, Meta, Amazon, Microsoft, these giant companies let go of thousands of workers. Many of those workers were on H1B visas. When someone on an H1B loses their job, they get 60 days to find a new employer or leave the country. But here is the problem, not everyone follows that rule. Some people stay in the country hoping they will find something soon. Some people do not even know that their status expired. And now the people in charge of immigration are tightening everything up. On top of that, there has been a big change in how companies hire people. They are using more contractors. They are sending work to other countries. They are opening offices in Canada and Mexico instead of paying for visas. So even if you have a job, the officers at the airport want to make sure it is a real job. They want to know it is not just a paper job to keep your visa alive. They have seen cases where people were technically employed but had no real work to do. Maybe the project got cancelled, maybe the team was broken up. If they think that is your situation, they can say no and send you back. Now, let me tell you what is really going on at the airports. The officers are asking very detailed questions. What project are you working on? Who is your manager? When did you last talk to your employer? Do you have an office to go back to, or are you working from home? Can you show me your recent pay stubs? And if your answers are unclear, or if you cannot show the right papers, that is a red flag. They might pull you into a secondary inspection room. They might call your employer to check your story, and if things do not match, they can cancel your visa right then and there and put you on a flight home. I know this sounds really scary, but I am not telling you this to make you panic. I am telling you this so you can protect yourself. Because the people who get sent back are not bad people, they are not criminals. They are not trying to do anything wrong. They simply did not know what papers to bring. They did not know what to say. They did not know how to get ready. And that is exactly what we are going to fix right now. So, what does this mean for you in real life? If you are working on an H1B right now, here is what you need to understand. Your visa date and your job status are two different things. You could have a visa that says it is good until 2027, but if your job ended last month and you did not move your H1B to a new employer, then technically you are out of status And if you travel to another country and try to come back, that is when they will catch you. The immigration officers can look at systems that show your work history, your labor condition application, and whether your employer is still active. They can see things that you might not even know about. Let me give you a true story. A software engineer worked for a big tech company. He went to India for a wedding. His visa was still good, his company was still running, but while he was away, his whole team got laid off. He did not know because he was on vacation. When he came back to the airport, the officer asked him which team he works for. He gave the name. The officer checked the computer and saw that team did not exist anymore. They denied him entry. He had to go back to India. He had to find a new employer willing to sponsor him. He had to go through the whole visa process all over again, all because of bad timing and not being prepared. Now, here is what social media is getting wrong. A lot of people are saying that the H1B visa is being cancelled. They say all Indian workers are being targeted. That is not true. The H1B is still a real visa. Thousands of people enter the United States every day with no problems at all. The problem is not the visa itself. The problem is people traveling without understanding where they stand with immigration. They travel without carrying the right documents. Some people think that just because they have a visa stamp in their passport, they are good to go. But that stamp is based on the petition your employer filed. If that petition is no longer valid because you changed jobs, got laid off, or your company closed down, then your visa stamp does not mean anything anymore. Another confusion is about the 60-day grace period. Yes, if you lose your H1B job, you get 60 days to find new work or leave the country. But that grace period does not work if you travel outside the United States. Once you leave, you are starting over. When you come back, you need to prove that you have a real job waiting for you. You cannot use the grace period as a reason to re enter. The immigration officers do not care that you still have 30 days left. If you do not have an active employer, they will not let you in. Also, people are confusing an H1B transfer with automatic approval. If you switch employers, your new employer has to file a brand new H1B petition. Until that petition is approved, you are still tied to your old employer in the eyes of immigration. So if you quit your job, your new employer files the transfer, and you travel before it is approved, you could have big problems at the border. The officer might say your old job is over and your new job is not confirmed yet. So, what status are you entering on? It is a gray area. And gray areas are very risky when you are standing in front of an immigration officer. Here is the hard truth: the United States immigration system does not give you many second chances. If you get denied entry, that goes on your record. It can hurt your future visa applications. It can cause problems if you ever apply for a green card, and in some cases, it can stop you from entering the country for years. So, this is not something to take lightly. This is not something to figure out as you go. You need to be fully ready before you ever step on a plane. Now, let me give you a clear action plan. If you are on an H1B and you are thinking about traveling outside the country, do these things before you even book your ticket. First, check with your employer that your job is still active. I know that sounds simple, but with all the layoffs and restructuring happening right now, you need written proof. Ask your human resources department for a letter that says you are currently employed. The letter should say what your job title is, what your salary is, and that you are expected to return to work after your trip. This letter should be on company letterhead and signed by someone who has the power to say so. Second, carry your approval notice. This is the I-797 form that USCIS sent when your H-1B was approved. Do not just bring a copy, bring the original if you can. This paper shows that your petition is valid and gives the officer all the details about your job. Third, bring recent pay stubs. Bring at least 2 to 3 months of pay stubs that show you are actively getting paid. This proves that you are not just on paper, you are really working and receiving your salary. Fourth, have your employer contact information ready. Know your manager's name, phone number, and email. Know your company address. If the officer wants to check anything, you should be able to give the right information right away. Do not stumble or guess, that makes them doubt you. Fifth, if you recently changed jobs, carry both your old and new approval notices. Carry the H1B transfer receipt notice if the new petition is still waiting for approval. Carry an offer letter from your new employer. Make it very clear what your current status is. Do not leave any room for confusion. And sixth, be honest. If the officer asks you a question and you do not know the answer, just say you do not know. Do not make something up. Do not exaggerate. Do not try to trick the officer. They talk to hundreds of travelers every single day. They can tell when someone is not being straight with them. If you are honest and you have your papers ready, you will be fine. But if you lie or avoid questions, that is when things go bad very fast. Now, what if you are planning to apply for an H1B in the future? Should you be worried? Here is what you need to know. H1B visas are still being given out. The lottery still happens every year. But companies are being more picky about who they sponsor. They want people who have special skills. They want people who are hard to replace. They want people who make the cost and effort of the visa process worth it. So, if you are planning to apply, make sure you are working with a strong employer. Find someone with a good history of H1B approvals. Make sure your job role counts as a specialty occupation and be ready for more questions and checks than in past years. Also, if you are already in the United States on a different status like F1 OPT and you are waiting for your H1B to start, do not travel unless you really have to. Every time you leave and come back, you are taking a chance. The officers are watching for people who might be trying to play the system. If they think you are spending too much time outside the country, or if your story does not make sense, they can deny you entry even if your visa looks valid. One more thing, if you do get sent back or denied entry, do not panic. It is not the end of the world, but you need to act quickly. Contact an immigration lawyer right away. Find out exactly why you were denied. Get the paperwork and figure out your next steps. Sometimes it can be fixed. Sometimes you need to apply again. But do not ignore it and hope it goes away. Immigration problems do not fix themselves, they only get worse if you do not deal with them. I am from Global Immigration Updates, and my job is to keep your American dream safe. I see too many good people lose their visas, their jobs, and their future just because they did not have the right information at the right time. That is why I make these videos. Not to scare you, but to prepare you. Because the system is complicated, the rules keep changing, and one mistake can cost you years of hard work. If this video helped you, do me a favor subscribe to this channel. Hit that notification bell because I post updates every time something changes in immigration policy. Whether it is H1B, green card, visa interviews, or new executive orders, you will hear it here first. And share this video with anyone you know who is on an H1B or planning to apply. They need to see this before they travel. Stay safe, stay informed, and remember your visa is only as strong as your preparation.